I feel very privileged and very honored to be here this afternoon. And I want to thank the city of Lugano and the University of Lugano, Mr. Rector, and Social Business Earth, Samantha Kakamo, for organizing this conference. When I was first invited to speak at the conference, I was not sure if people will be of interest, will take any interest in what I have to say, the social business. And in Switzerland, in Lugano, I don't know what there will be anybody who would like to listen to what I have to say. But I'm overwhelmed by the enthusiasm and the warmth and the attention that you give to the issue that I have been raising for many, many years. Now hearing Samantha Kakamo saying that it will be an annual event, I get very encouraged that this is not only talking about it, it's something to do about it. So I feel very privileged to be present here today to see the beginning of that process. The questions that I have been raising are very simple. It's not complicated issues which needs a lot of analysis, nothing like that. I just raise questions because it disturbs me. I never intended to be a banker. That was not something I had in mind at all. But circumstances pushed me into that direction. And before I could realize, people started calling me banker. I was kind of feeling awkward that, am I really a banker? But people have been kind. They made some kind of add some adjective to it. They say banker to the poor. I feel a little bit better. If people give me this title, the banker to the poor, then I ask the question, what would you call the other banker? If you just say banker, then it should not explain their role. Because if I'm the banker to the poor, by virtue of my being banker to the poor, they become the banker to the rich. So we have only one kind of bank in the whole world. Banker to the rich. People pay attention, people get curious about me because I'm a banker to the poor. This is a freak organization out of the usual. What do they do? Is it real? And I have been raising the question about the banker to the rich by saying, shouldn't the bank as a lending institution should be lending money to the poor, people who do not have money? Now you create a very funny organization which lends money to the people who already have money. I thought the logical thing would be to lend money to people who don't have money. So I thought I'm promoting the reason. But they call me unreasonable man. I'm the unreasonable man. Because I'm raising the question about what they do. It's not just few people who are missed out from banking. Nearly 2/3 of the world population are not included in the financial system. So what kind of an institution have we built which goes on merrily, joyfully declaring their successes without being of service to two-thirds of humankind? And in the process, deprive those two-thirds of the population to take charge of their own life by expressing their creative power to make a living for themselves. It needs $1 to catch $1. If you don't have any money in your hand, you can't catch any money. But nobody gives the first amount of money in the hands of the poor people so that they can go and catch some money more. That's why this film was quoting me and named it To Catch $1. And all my effort was trying to do, can we bring it to those people? Because they were saying it's impossible to do it. It cannot be done. Because they are not creditworthy. And funny thing happened. I was in a battle with American conferences, their leaders, always saying microcredit will not work in the United States. I'm always saying it will work anywhere, as long as there are people who are rejected from the banking system, and there are people everywhere who are rejected from the banking system. So they challenged me to do it in the United States. In 2008, January, we began that program and called it Grameen America. That's the film that you just saw. And we started in January of 2008, the famous year. And by the second half of 2008, whole financial crisis came. The financial system, financial institutions are just melting away, collapsing. It was a very interesting sight in New York City. On the one side of the street, Grameen program is flourishing. On the other side of the street, huge banks with all their lawyers, with all their collaterals, just melting away, collapsing. I asked someone in New York City, I said, I wish some newspaper people, some journalists should come and ask me the question, tell me who is creditworthy. I can show who is creditworthy on this side, on the other side. Because this explanation they were giving that the poor are not creditworthy, that's why they cannot get the money. Now here, with all the collaterals and all the lawyers on your side, they couldn't protect their bank. And the one which is still flourishing, still working, as sound as any bank can be, the poor people who took loan without collateral, who pays back very regularly every week. And that is the story that you saw. Today, in 2012, there are 4 branches in New York City. Over 9,000 borrowers, 100% women. Average starting loan is about $1,500. Repayment rate is 99.3%. Never faltered, never fall below 99%. That's New York City. And they were saying it will not work in the United States. Now people are lining up to join Grameen Bank. People need the money. They were so impressed. People from other cities now coming to us, why don't you open a branch in our city? So someone came from Omaha, Nebraska, pleading with us, please start a program in New York City, in Omaha, Nebraska. We'll give you all the money to run it. So she provided all the money. We went and we started it. Now there are 2 years. Omaha, Nebraska has a branch. And now more branches will be open. Last year, again, another city came, Indianapolis. So we started another branch in Indianapolis. And another branch just opened in San Francisco. 2 more branches are on the line, the pipeline. One is in Detroit, another in Charlotte, North Carolina. So the fact that it can be done doesn't mean it is actually done. Now that all the demonstrations over years and years now, it's all over the world. Still banking system didn't change. Still bank for the rich remains bank for the rich. Bank for the poor has to be created separately. And still bank for the poor is not a recognized institution because they don't have a legal home. Almost all over the world, it is done as an NGO activity. Somebody has to give them some money so that they can give money to the poor people. It's not done as a business proposition with a license that we are a bank. We can take deposit and lend money. Grameen Bank today lends out over $1.5 billion every year with 8.4 million borrowers. They don't need any money from anybody, from outside. All this money is generated internally. Take deposits and lend them the money. Interesting thing is, bulk of these deposits are the deposits by the borrower themselves. Because in our system, we built up a procedure that every borrower has to open savings account so that she can put some little money into the savings account. While she takes loan, she pays back, but still her savings can grow. So when 8.4 million borrowers save, it immediately becomes a big savings, total. Today, the balance of all those savings of all the borrowers is nearly $1 billion. So when we give out $1.5 billion, $1 billion is their own money. It's not money coming from outside. And soon it will become bigger and bigger part of their loan. But it's still, nobody is interested because they're poor. They said it cannot be done outside of Bangladesh because Bangladesh may be some funny country, it works. Today, 35 years later, is every single country in the world has this program. Every single country has shown it has the same results as anywhere else. In Bangladesh, not only we lend money, we also paid attention to the children of those families. Because their parents, the children's parents, the mother and the father, they never went to school. Nobody in those families ever went to school. So we wanted to make a break. Children in Grameen families will go to school. So we made it our job, Grameen Bank's job, to send the children to school. We accomplished that. 100% of the children of Grameen families went to school. And then gradually they moved up the ladder of the school and graduated from high school. Many of them, I will not say all of them, many of them graduated from high school. They want to go to colleges, but college is an expensive place. So we immediately introduced education loan so that nobody has to stop education because they could not afford it. So we tell them that don't worry, wherever you want to have education, go, we will finance you as far as you can go. So hundreds of thousands of students went to medical school, engineering schools, universities with Grameen Bank education loan. So we have a completely new generation of young people in those illiterate families. These children are very different kinds of children. But they raise very tough questions. In the beginning, when they were getting into the higher level of educations, they started complaining that why should we graduate? Why should we have higher education? Because there is no job in the country. So we finish our education and then remain unemployed. What do we do with ourselves? Then I was very worried. What do we do with that? So I tried to come back with a solution. And they started accepting it. The solution is, I tell them, look, we are very privileged young people in Bangladesh because your mother owns a bank, because the Grameen Bank borrowers are the owners of the bank. So his or her mother owns the bank. I said, why should you be looking for jobs? Why don't you instead make a pledge and repeat this pledge every day? And the pledge is, I'm not a job seeker, I'm a job giver. Since money is not your problem, your mother's bank has unlimited money. So your problem is to come up with ideas, how to invest this money and create your own job and create jobs for others. Who said that after education you have to find a job? You can create your own job, at the same time you can create jobs for any other people. So now many of this second generation are coming into it and building up their businesses and so on. While we are doing all this microcredit within Grameen Bank, I started confronting other problems of the poor people. First problem I confronted was the problem of health of the children, because it was such a visible thing. After sunset, children cannot see anymore, become blind. I was very curious, what happened? What is this problem? Doctors explained to me that this disease is known as night blindness. Explains what happens. Cannot see at night. What is the reason? Reason, vitamin A deficiency. How do you cure it? Very simple. Give them vitamin A tablets or make them eat vegetables. Vegetables have a lot of vitamin A, particularly colored vegetables. So we took the option of feeding these children with vegetables, promoting this idea that families should find vegetable to feed the children. Then the family said, we don't have vegetables. Then we came up with the idea, why didn't you grow vegetables? You can grow vegetable anywhere you want. Then they said, we don't have seeds. It's okay, we'll provide you seeds. So we started making tiny little seed packets, costing 1 penny per packet, so that it doesn't cost anything. I started selling, and it became very popular. They want more seed, more seed. And as we grew, our seed businesses grew. And soon we became the largest seed seller in the country. It was very simple. Selling was not a problem because all we had to do, put all these seeds in our branch. And our staff, when they go to the center meeting, a weekly meeting, carry some, ask anybody interested in buying seeds? Okay, I'll take it. Here's one. That's it. It's nothing extra. In a few years' time, we saw the impact. Night blindness started decreasing. Soon, it disappeared. In Bangladesh, the disease doesn't exist anymore. Starting from that, we did many other such businesses. Every time I see a problem, like I saw this night blindness problem, I create a business to solve it. And I feel very happy that business solves it well. And it is self-sustaining. I don't have to go and find money for it. It runs by its own steam. I'll give another example of what I did as a social business. Bangladesh doesn't have much of electricity. After sunset, the villages become dark because there is no electricity. 70% of the people of Bangladesh have no access to electricity. And we're sorry that after sunset, all they have is kerosene lamp. And kerosene lamp is not a healthy thing anyway. It doesn't produce much light. So at night, hardly you can work, you can do anything. Children have tough time studying, can't see anything properly. So we thought, why don't we take advantage of this problem? Bring solar home system into these houses. So we created a company called Gramin Shakti or Gramin Energy. Started selling solar home system. Very difficult to persuade people because they never seen this, and you have to pay. And compared to their income, it's a very high cost, what they have to pay. They said, well, who knows whether it will really give it. Maybe in the first 6 months it will give and then it will disappear. We keep promising that no, it will go on for 30 years without any interruption. But they cannot wait 30 years to find out. They have to pay now. Very difficult to convince. Selling even 5 or 6 solar home systems per month became such a big struggle. And finally we made it 5 and 6. Then 10 solar home system, 20 solar home system per month. We got very encouraged. Today, 15 years later, we sell more than 1,000 solar home systems per day. So that's the kind of zoom because people understood the benefit of it. And they are willing to pay because it makes sense. Oil price is going up, solar cost is going down, so it is coming more and more close to what it cost you with the kerosene lamp over a period of time, because once you pay it back, all the money, you don't have to pay anything. You just enjoy your electricity. There is no bill payment for it. It's your system. You have your own power generating station in your home because you take the sunlight, you convert it. And this year, in about 4 months' time, we'll just cross the 1 million solar home system operating in Bangladesh through this company. And we didn't do this business to make money for me or for anybody. We did it to solve this problem. And if the solar prices go a little bit down and oil prices go a little bit up, I think every home in Bangladesh will be run by solar home system. Very simple logic. But the money-making business doesn't go into that because they don't see quick money, big money into that. So we had to create a new kind of business. Business to solve problems without worrying about personally benefiting from that business. And that's the business we started calling social business. Non-dividend company to solve problems. Owner or investor can take back the investment money, but nothing more than that, because this company is created for solving the problem. And that's what you mentioned about Gramin Danone produce yogurt for malnutrition. We have a joint venture because they were very excited. Danone chairman Frank Ribot, he wanted to do a social business. So we created this social business in Bangladesh, using their talent, their creativity to produce this yogurt. Put all the micronutrients which are missing in the children, because half the children of Bangladesh are malnourished. If a child eats this yogurt over a period of 8 or 9 months, child gets back all the macronutrients, become healthy child. You don't have to wait 8 and 9 months. Even as months go by, you see the difference in the child. Child starts growing, child starts jumping around, child is uncontrollable. Mothers complain, I cannot control this child anymore. She even complains, what do you do? Because I can't control this guy. And you can see when she's complaining, she's very happy. Because before this, the child used to cry, sit down, doesn't move, doesn't play, half sick. Now it's a healthy child. Like any healthy child, he's always jumping around, getting out of the trees. Mother's trying to bring him down. Same like any other child anywhere. So that's a social business. Now we have a series of those social businesses. We have a social business for malaria, to produce mosquito nets. It's a joint venture with BASF in Germany. We have joint venture with Adidas to produce shoes. I challenge them to produce shoes which will cost less than €1 to the people. They were shocked. Adidas shoes under €1. I said, look, if you want to do social business, that's the way you have to do. So that nobody should go barefoot. That's the whole idea. Why should anybody go barefoot? If you want to reach that barefoot person, you have to make this price very low. And then this shoe should not be charity shoe. It costs you €5 and you sell it for €1. That's a charity. Then it's not a business. Business is you must be creative, make ways how to cost less in production and produce it under €1 cost, and you sell under €1. Cover your costs. And that's the whole idea. After 2 years of hard work, they took it very seriously. Entire company worked for this very hard. And finally they found this way. And now they are producing it, selling it. So that's a social business. They didn't do it to make money. They do it because we convince them if they can do it, it will save millions of lives. Because if you go barefoot, you are attacked by diseases, particularly parasitic diseases. So now you stop parasitic diseases because they have the shoes. So there are many more are coming. But interesting thing is, when we talk about social business, now the businesses are taking interest. And I keep saying, we talk about the financial crisis, we mentioned it today, financial crisis. People are very upset. We are not sure whether this system will work. And I keep asking, why does it take such a long time to figure that out, that this system doesn't work? I said, I don't understand why this system cannot have a financial institution built so that everybody has access to that financial service. But you are still singing the glory of this system. I cannot sing that glory. And I'm demonstrating that it can be done. Still the system doesn't take it. Still we are outsiders. We are kind of footnotes. We are not in the mainstream, main page. And I say, if one person remains unemployed, have you ever asked whose fault this is? Is it the fault of the person who remains unemployed? He's an energetic young person, or she's a brilliant, innovative person, worked hard to learn everything, ready to work, but she remains unemployed. And not one person. Millions of these people. in rich countries. In some European countries now, young unemployment has gone up to 50% or near 50%. If it is not the people's fault, not the young people's fault, whose fault is this? System. And we are still singing the glory of that system. It's not working. If you add everything together, it's a long list. So are we looking for some improvement, some redesign? No. We're just trying to kind of fix it a little bit. Temporary fixing will take you for another year of kind of halting way to move. It will not solve the fundamental problems. And I raised this issue about the fundamental problems. I said, unless we get to the root of those problems, the fundamental flaws in the system will always fall down. We'll walk a little bit and then fall down again. It will show up in many different ways. Now it is shown up as a crisis, a financial crisis, employment crisis, the unemployment crisis, food crisis, environmental crisis, social crisis, poverty, healthcare. These are all part of that faulty system. And my explanation of this faulty system is, this system has interpreted human being in a wrong way. And they built on that wrong assumption about human being. They assumed all human beings are money chasers. They love money. All they want to do in their lifetime is make money. Money is the most exciting thing in their life. So we go into business, make money, more money, more money. Money has become part of our habit. We cannot get rid of it. It is our addiction. We don't know why we make money, but still we want to make money. We can't stop making money. We get nervous. So we became money chasers. All we do in our lifetime is chase money. I said, real human being, first of all, is not one-dimensional. They don't do only one thing. Human being is multidimensional. There are a lot of things they want to do. But you squeeze that multidimensional human being, took it as a single-dimensional human being, and distorted us. And it created a distorted economy and distorted vision. I said, you took one aspect of human being, which is selfishness, took the selfishness and built the whole world of economics on the basis of selfishness. The more money you make, the more happy you get. That's the theme. I said, what about selflessness? As a human being, we're all selfless too, same time. We're selfish and selfless. But you don't want to touch the selfless part. So if you want to be selfless, step outside the economics. Become a philanthropist. Give away your money. I said, no, I want to be inside the economics and express my selflessness. And that's the idea of business and selflessness, what I call social business. Business to do good, to solve problems. Can business solve problems? Of course it can. Today we have enormous creativity, enormous technology in the world, and that technology and creativity is expanding in an exponential way. What I have today, tomorrow it will be much more. Who is using this technology? Under whose command this technology works? Business. What do the business do with it? They make money. I said, if we could somehow take this creative power, take this technology to solve problems, no problems can exist very long. Simply we don't do it because our idea is all about making money. So social business opens the door. I can take this technology here and put it in service of the people in a business way. Advantage of business way is it keeps on running on its own once you create that. Unlike charity. In charity, money goes, it doesn't come back. It does a good work, but it doesn't come back. But in social business, if you convert this into social business, money keeps on working again and again and again, non-stop, ever and ever. That's the power. And you bring your creativity into it. In charity, most often you are writing a check and give it to them. You are not involved in it. But when you create a business, you get involved. It's your business. You want to see happen. Then I say, why can't we create this new system where making money is a means? Making money is not an end. End is something else. But today, making money is a means, making money is an end. I said, what happened to the purpose of our being here? I understand making money is a means, but making money, it cannot be the purpose of my life. So I want to use myself, fulfill my purpose, whatever purpose I have defined for myself. What happened to that? I said, when you bring the social business into the picture, then I can have a complete picture. So making money is a means, using this money for solving problem through social business is the end. I make myself happy by making money in money-making business, and I make myself happy by making other people happy. Economists forget that there is another kind of happiness. Making other people happy is a happiness. We don't know about that because economists never introduced it to us. So we forgot about it. It's enormous happiness when you can see that you have really done something which touched other people's lives. Once you taste it, you can't walk away from it. No amount of other happiness will substitute for that. So I'm trying to introduce that happiness to social business. And that's why when big businesses come, small businesses come, young people come about social business, I know they are looking for that happiness. After all, the world is changing so fast, with the technology changing so fast. The distance between impossible and possible is shrinking. Nothing will remain impossible anymore. Then why don't we put our mind into it to get rid of all those impossible things that we see? Like one impossible I mentioned, quote unquote impossible, about unemployment. I said, why should anybody be unemployed? Then people say, oh, it's impossible. I said, no, there is nothing called impossible. All is a question of setting it up. Design a system. I said, why don't we design this, at least put the kind of objectives of the system that we'll design. What will be the system do for us? And put number one, that system will be such a system where nobody will be an unemployed person. And the word unemployment, nobody will understand. What is it? What is it you're talking about? Oh, I read in history there used to be unemployment. Why? They're stupid. Because nothing wrong with people. Why should people remain unemployed? I even joke about it. I said, have you ever heard an animal remain unemployed? How come with all the glory of our knowledge, half the population of the world remain unemployed or underemployed? We are talking about Europe, about 50% unemployment and blah, blah. What about the poor countries? They don't talk about unemployment. They see how many employment they have created. Because that is the rest of the population. The whole population remains on their own. Who cares? So that's the challenge, that we can create that system. I said, if we can go to the moon, we create a system which takes us to the moon and bring us back. Without ever knowing how to get there and coming back. We designed a system because we put our mind into it. We designed a system to send our missions to Mars and this Jupiter and everything. We calculated everything correctly and made it done. Why can't we calculate and design a system to do this kind of thing? Because we thought, no, we are fixing the capitalist system. Throw out that system. Unless you throw it out, you'll never learn how to do it again in your own way. So that's the challenge, that it's possible. We have to believe in it, and we'll make it happen. And social business is just the beginning of those changes, that we can make a change that can take place. And I'm very happy that you have initiated this conference. I hope we can come back and see what we have done in the meantime. And social business is not about Bangladesh or Latin America or something. It's right here, wherever it exists. And people tell me, what can we do with social business here or in Europe? I said, first of all, why don't we create a tiny little social business to take 5 people on welfare who has a dependence on the government for survival. Take 5 such people out of welfare. That's your social business. Can't we create a business which will take care of these 5 people and have decent income for themselves and be proud of their work rather than sit around and live on government subsidy on somebody else's money? Possible. Just 5 people. Anybody can do that. But if somebody has done it, it opens the door. Another person say, hey, I can do better than that. I can do his business to make it much more cheerful, much more enjoyable for 10 people. And that's the beginning of the whole process. Very soon, nobody will be on welfare. So, number 2 on my list, objective. Nobody should be unemployed. Nobody should be on welfare. Because if nobody is unemployed, why should anybody be welfare? Very simple thing. It's one related to another. And such things, you can put all those things and then start designing it. And this, I hope we can get a chance to discuss it, and we can create social business funds in Lugano so that anybody who has a bright idea of a social business to solve a problem here or someplace else, social business fund can invest in it. Say, go ahead, do it. It's a small one, not a big one. You develop the prototype. Once you start 1 prototype, 2 prototype, you change the world, because this is the seed. Once you have developed the seed, you get the plantation made. So seed development is the most important thing. I hope your presence will lead you in that direction. Just create a fund, and have an annual, as you have the conference, you have annual social business design competition, like we had today in your classroom that you took me. Get everybody in, business people, housewives, anybody who can come up with an idea as a business proposition. Say, this is our business. And during the conference, you announce these are the top winners of the prizes, and this is the investment we are making. Let's see, next year they will tell us how they have done that. And you will take the leadership in changing the world. Thank you very much.